Hey all, here OS Reviews. Today we're taking a closer look at the ZYF Z10. This is a all-in-one smart air mouse remote. That means it has a built-in gyroscope and accelerometer, so whenever you're waving it in the air, there's going to be a cursor that appears on the display using gestures, which is pretty cool. It makes it a lot easier to use if you connect this to, say, an Android TV box, or if you're giving presentations for some more precise movement. It sells for only $30, so it's quite cheap, and on the back side, there's also a full QWERTY keyboard that you can use to type out things more easily than pecking with a traditional, budget remote control that has just a 4-way D-pad. The QWERTY keyboard side also has a built-in touchpad that supports pinch to zoom and multi-touch, so you can use a touchpad to control the mouse, or you can use the air gestures to use it. It's also a traditional remote in the sense that it has an infrared sensor that can learn the code of other existing remotes. So you can use it to replace a regular TV control, for example, and you can use this instead to turn on or off your TV, in addition to make it an air mouse. So that's pretty neat. Now, the entire thing works, though, either using infrared 2.4G or using a built-in USB little adapter. So it doesn't connect using Bluetooth. That's the one mode of connection that would have been nice to have as another option. But considering the low cost price, I guess it is what it is. So again, 2.4G as well as IR, but no Bluetooth. And overall, again, compatible with almost any system. It also has a built-in microphone as well, so you can even use it to do voice search and voice input. The entire thing is rechargeable, so it uses a micro USB cable to do that, and can be reused for at least a few weeks before you need to recharge it again. Here is what the Z10 looks like, and some other accessories that you get include some adapters. There's that full-size USB for receiving this little receiver tip, and then the other side can connect to micro USB, USB Type-C, so you can connect this onto tablets and other Android devices and convert it to a full-size one to support this. It's going to work with on any device that supports OTG or supporting a USB input. So here is also a quick user manual, and that's pretty much it. So a very simple presentation. Taking a closer look at the design of the Z10 here, it's constructed out of a polycarbonate plastic, and then the centerpiece here has kind of a matte texture to it. Almost reminds me a bit of a fabric texture. So it's pretty well built and looks quite distinctive. The top here features the microphone as well as some LED status lights, and when you're pointing it like this, it works like an air remote for the gestures of moving the cursor around. You can tap on this key once to lock the cursor into place. You can tap on this to turn on or off the backlight, and there's some specific keys that will work for Android down below here as well. Now, if you turn the entire remote around, that's where you have the QWERTY keyboard. Because this thing has an accelerometer, it will detect which orientation you're in, and then when you're putting it like this, it will disable all the buttons on the back, and it will turn off the air mouse function and make the cursor activated. It feels quite good in terms of the spacing. It's very generous. It's an island style that feels tactile and responsive. The only thing I will say, though, is the keys are pretty spread out. So if you have smaller fingers, there is a bit of a stretch that's needed to reach all the keys. So it requires a little bit of adjustment there because of how long the remote is. But overall, works pretty well. The keys are nice and clicky. Now on the edge here is where we have access to a dedicated power on-off key and also the micro USB port for charging. And the top here is where the kind of sensors for the infrared and IR come from. And that's it. A very clean design. Now, if I turn it on, almost instantly, it will just automatically connect to the receiver once you connect it to your computer or phone. And immediately, we can see that the backlight here will also turn on by default. It's actually turned on for both sides, including the front and the back, so there's dual backlights, although you can't adjust the brightness any further, like turn it up or down. It does turn off, however, after a few seconds of inactivity to conserve on the battery. If I flip it over, you'll see that the QWERTY keyboard backlight will turn on, and then the back here has been turned off and disabled. So it's pretty responsive and works quite well. The QWERTY keyboard here is nice and easy to read. So here we have the USB connected onto this laptop running in Windows 10, and you see it's just plug and play. It works almost immediately. We have this cursor that appears on screen as we see, and as we move the remote, it just moves along with us. The other controls like moving up, down, left, and right also do work exactly as advertised. Try something else like test again, and that works very well. And we can still do things like scrolling up and down using 2 fingers, as you can see there. So it supports multi-touch gestures, so if you want to do that, as opposed to the air mouse, you can use this side of the remote, and obviously you can tap once to select various things. And if you're connected to a monitor or TV and you're further away, if you want to do things like entertainment and watch a movie, it's really easy to control things. And I can tap on OK to select them, watch back a video. I can full screen the video here, turn down the volume. It all works just really well. I can even use the adjustment controls there to skip back and forth between parts of the video, and scrub works really well. I can turn up and down the volume of the video I'm playing. We can also do other things like scroll down and have more precise navigation on other videos, read back comments, and interact with it from afar. So it's a very enjoyable experience and very easy to master. So now we have it connected to our smartphone here, and once again, this little cursor, as you can see there, is popping along, and it's very much visible, easy to use. It's a phone in this demonstration, but any device running on Android will obviously work in the same way, whether it's an Android TV box connected to your larger display, whether it's a tablet, and we can also use the D-pad here to select different menus and grids to navigate maybe more precise links if you're web browsing or going through a longer list of options. It all works pretty well. Standard Android keys like home, menu, as well as back are all functional. If it's a smartphone or tablet, oftentimes you have to connect it to a hub, whether it's using one of their extension cables to do that, or if you have an existing Type-C to USB hub, you can use that, and it will be functional. Now, the last feature I want to show here is the lost function. So you can tap on this if you want to find your remote and it's lost somewhere behind a cushion or something. Tap on it, and an alarm here will charm. So that's more or less it as far as our hands-on review of the ZYF Air Mouse Z10. Overall, this is definitely my favorite, most fully featured Air Mouse here in 2020. Well constructed and has a nice variety of functions which are well thought out, especially if you enjoy connecting devices onto a TV and you're sitting from afar to control things, as well as for presentations. You can check out more details if you're interested in the links down below, but for now that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. That's been the ZYF Air Mouse Z10.